Happy Friday, y'all. This is Bethany. I am the host of the I'm the host of the Creativity Cure podcast, and I am back. Yes, I told you I'd be back, and as I promised, I am. And today, I'm going to I'm going to go to the next episode of our series. The last time I was here, we were talking about growth mindset. We were taking these principles that are in design. We were taking the principles of empathizing, defining your problems, prototyping, testing. We were taking all of these pieces that are in design, and we were talking about how to apply them to everyday life. The Creativity Cure podcast started because there is so much that I do as a designer that I feel really applies to my everyday life, and the skills that I've learned to help me pursue design, I found are helpful for everyday life, and so I really want to make those things accessible to you. So today, first, I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of where I've been, and then I'm going to go right into it. So I have been transitioning from doing my photography work and design work at a part-time basis to doing it full-time. I actually started this a month ago or two, and it's been going pretty good. I now do photography, of course. I still do photography. I've been growing my business by working with creative clients as well as corporate clients, and then I have also been doing web design. In my time of learning how to build a website for my photography, I actually ended up teaching myself how to do web design, and I followed that up with some formal education. And so I was able to start doing web design as a great way to just build income and be creative from home, especially with having a daughter now. And it's allowed me to be flexible, be there for my family. I get to spend more time with my husband and my daughter, and I'm really enjoying myself. And so I needed to take a break away from the podcast to just resettle. I started what I would say freelance side of my business, and it's called Digital Story Design. We are going to talk about the power of testing. So we talked about testing. We talked about how when it comes to a growth mindset, you can't be afraid of failing, and that the best way to know if something is going to work is not to think about it, but to go out there and try it, test it out, which can be nerve-wracking because there are real costs to testing out your ideas, but you always learn from the test. And I think having a mindset where you see life instead of as every little thing you do determines all your success, just realize that there are lots of little lessons, and those little lessons build up to where you direct them to go. You can control how your failure grows you, or if your failure keeps you limited and where you're at, because you fail once and you can have the mindset of, well, I failed once, I should never try again, and I'm just no good. Or you can have the mindset that I can learn from this and I can grow from this and I can always change. I'm not stuck. For me, that was the lesson I had to learn, is that I'm not stuck. I can do something different tomorrow. If something's not working, I can try something different. I can test it. And I don't have to be afraid of preserving the way things are just because something didn't go as planned. I can let my idea go and I can choose to move on to a new one. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is community. Building a community where you not only celebrate each other's successes, but you support each other through failure. And failure, I know, can seem like a harsh word, but I think the reason I want to use it is because that's how it plays in my mind. It doesn't matter how nicely someone tells me I did a bad job. I hear the word failure. So I'm using that word because I want to remind myself that even if in my mind I let people down or I did the wrong thing, I want to start building and attracting community that doesn't beat me down when I'm down, but that stays with me. They are not just fair weather friends. They're not just there when things are good, but when things are down, they're willing to stick it out, help me learn from it, and help me build from it. So I would say that when you decide to have a growth mindset for yourself, And when you decide to have room for your people around you to fail and learn from their failure, you actually build a community of people who support each other in the ups and downs. And I think that that support is what will make you resilient, and it'll make you more creative. So I think that when you start changing your mindset, seeing the things that go wrong as plot twists instead of as just the end period, the end of the story, you're going to attract that to you. You're going to invite that into your life. And again, I think that in the world we live in today, your ability to make connections, your ability to build community, your ability to go through failure and success with people is what's going to determine your success far more than your ability to just always do things perfectly. Finally, when it comes to testing out your ideas, building a community that really is willing to walk with you as you test things. So I want to leave you with this. Whatever it is you're setting out to do, whatever creative venture, whatever challenge you're facing that you know is going to take determination, you know may take some failure and learning from, I want you to be encouraged that you have the ability to overcome any obstacle you face. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's convenient. I'm not saying it's fun. I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is that you can determine that whatever it is you're facing is not going to get you, but you are going to overcome it. I want to say that to encourage you that if you have a creative venture you're thinking of starting, if you have tried and tried and tried to be successful and have failed many times, that you can do it. You can get up and try again. In some ways, I think that you don't know the moment that will make the difference. You really don't. If you give up one chance before you have that moment and that breakthrough that leads to more growth, you're going to miss out on a lot. I know for me, there was a point where I wanted to give up on photography, and I wanted to give up on finding a way to tie my creativity in to my everyday life. I wanted to stop because it was hard, it was difficult, and I was frustrated, and I felt like I was hitting a wall, and I felt like I had no other choices. And so for a while, that just really made me feel depressed, frustrated, tired, stressed. And then I just decided that I wasn't going to tolerate that as the story of my life. Now, there's a lot of things outside of my control, but what was in my control is I could look at all the skills I have, the resources I have, and I could decide that I can put everything I have to making life look the way I want it, rather than letting my circumstances determine what my life would be like, letting my circumstances determine how much time I would spend with my family, or just determine the direction that my life was going. So I say all that to say that I understand it takes an insane amount of strength to push yourself from one stage of life to the next. But honestly, your success is only one step away from where you are now. It might be a lot of steps. However, your ability to pick your foot up and take a step forward when it feels like all you should do is stop and sit down and quit will grow you as a person, will grow your community, and will open doors you never thought would be possible. So I say that as encouragement today. That's my mini podcast. I have so much more coming, but if you want to keep up with me, please check out BethanyJphotography.com. You can also check out my new venture, digital story design. Everything I do is always constantly being worked on, so don't expect to see perfection, but you will get a good idea of what I'm doing now, a good idea of my process, and you'll be able to see exciting new news. One very exciting thing is that if you live in Maryland, I now have studio space to work with you. So I actually book all throughout the week. I do photography primarily. I do headshots, I do fine art photography, and I do product photography. So if you need any of those or know someone who does, head to BethanyJphotography.com. Shoot me an email. I promise I will respond very quickly. And finally, I am also doing web design. I actually am having so many cool opportunities to work with different creative people to just build them up, to help them grow. And that's really just filling up my creative heart, but also I am able to take care of my family this way. So if you're interested in that, visit digitalstorydesign.com. Otherwise, if you're just here for the podcast, I will see you again in about 2 weeks. Again, my name is Bethany Joy, and this is the Creativity Cure podcast.